Hi everyone, happy Monday. It is about that time to go live with Jackie Wilson's run. And we're going to talk about a mental training challenge that we're going to bring to you beginning November 21st. So, for those of you recovering from the marathon, I just want to let you know that you were all absolutely phenomenal and amazing. It was so much fun to cheer you on. And I just, I'm very, very excited to bring to you this challenge that is the perfect thing to do between training cycles. We're having Jackie join us right now. So I'm really, really excited to have her on here. And hi, Jackie.
Hey,
How's it going? Happy Monday.
it's going well. Day after New York.
The day after New York. Yes. It
Was it
was
super exciting?
so exciting. I couldn't help myself but jump in and go under the barricades. Yeah. It was magic. It was magic.
I have it recorded because I was actually doing deer hunting stuff. So I'm gonna watch it tomorrow when I do a long ride. So I'm excited to watch it.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna love it. It's gonna make you want to run. Yeah. But so speaking of the marathon and just kind of, I guess, decompressing, mental training is just such a great way to do that. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I do. I do. Like there's so many different things that you can do with it, and no matter what kind of race you had, even if you didn't run a race, it can help you tremendously.
Yes. And I have to thank you for recommending the book Mindful Running because it's kind of changed my life. And I hope that this challenge to everyone joining here, this you give this challenge an opportunity to change yours and just change the way you think about running, uh, because it's very, I guess, easy to get so fixated on the numbers and just, yeah. So let's walk through. Yeah.
This is the book that Allie just mentioned,
So
Mindful Running by Mackenzie Havey or Havey. It's absolutely incredible. I read it last June. I love it. I love it. I read it last June when I was starting back up running again after having to take 14 months off. And I had to really approach running in a different way if I actually wanted to get back to it and enjoy it. And this book, and I told Allie, I was like, I started this book 2 or 3 days before my first race, which I didn't plan on running it. I just had a free race registration from 2 years prior because I had taken first overall female. Um, and I read this book and I was like, oh, this is the ticket in what she talked about in how I needed to approach running. And I had kind of thought and went back and forth on when I should actually start running because I was starting ready to feel running again. And when I read this book, I was like, okay, I'm going to run this race. I'm going to run it with these intentions and these thoughts in my head. And the rest is history. Like it has changed everything for me. So highly recommend everyone read it. Like no matter what stage or chapter of life you're in and season of running you're in, there's something in there for everyone.
yeah, that's an excellent, wow, I guess, way to kind of introduce the book, but also to kind of help everyone on here appreciate running for what it is and what it could actually do for you.
Yep.
And I guess a way to make it easier. With that being said, do you want to maybe talk a little bit about just your comeback from corporate burnout a little bit and how this is approached, how this like has helped you, and then I could talk about, I guess, how you kind of pass that on to me in a weird way. Like, yeah, not in the same way as you, but yeah, I would love for you to share that with the listeners on here.
Yeah, so I have a master's in accounting and I'm very numbers focused, just always have been. And I got to a point in my journey where there was just the expectation and the pressure to um, win every race that I was running, even though I personally was running just to beat my last time and to just see how much further I could push myself. But it just became that expectation where I was at with the times that I was running that I was going to win it. And that took a toll on me really hard in 2019, and running was no longer fun anymore. I was extremely stressed before every race that I was set to run. And when the burnout really hit, I struggled with the the numbers game, and if and when I would start running again, how that would look, because I knew that it was going to look different. So when I found this book, I really had to overcome that performance-based perfectionism and really realizing that the numbers don't define me, and being a runner is not my sole identity, and that there's so much more to my story than just being a runner. And really taking in the thoughts that I was thinking on, even at the time when I was just walking. And if there were negative thoughts, if there were thoughts of, oh, I'm never going to get back to running again, I'm never going to be able to achieve what I have already achieved, just to recognize those thoughts, to kind of dig into it, like, where are these thoughts actually coming from? Are these thoughts actually true? No. um, and just really letting those thoughts pass through my mind, and sometimes even flipping them to something positive, like, okay, I've done this before, I can do it again, and I'm coming back smarter, so I'm actually going to surpass where I was. I'm going to take the things that worked well, but I'm going to leave the things that didn't work. Or that weren't beneficial to me, and just really being mindful, hence the title,
Yeah.
with my thoughts and how my body was feeling, and really listening to my body, and am I actually doing what's best on my run, but also outside of running. Like, this talks a lot about running, and thoughts and things that address while you're running, but you can take any of those principles and apply them to the rest of your day and to the rest of your life.
Yeah, I love that. And, wow, thank you for opening up about that. It's not easy to do, but I'm sure that, many of you on here, if you can't relate directly, I'm sure you could pull something from that. It's really easy to get caught in the numbers game, really easy. Jackie, when you recommended this book to me, it was right after I ran Chicago and they had messed up my time in the app, which, you know, internally, I think anyone could get a little fixated on numbers, especially when you're going for an aggressive goal. But, it was kind of like, I'm not going to lie, I let for a moment that take away my marathon high, like just because I knew I ran a 2:57 and I was like, okay, whatever. It's the numbers though. It's the numbers. So I set out to listen to the audible version of this and I couldn't turn it off. I was like, oh gosh, I could be running for hours. But while I was running, just thinking about my surroundings, listening to my feet, whatever I could hear outside of the audio, just like appreciating my body and just not even looking at my watch besides the overall time spent was like such a nice, refreshing reset button for me. And, to anyone on here, if you just ran either Chicago or Berlin or any of the major marathons, New York City, it's really, really nice to kind of have a little bit of a reset and reframe the way you could kind of look at running and your performance goals, because that could look a whole lot different than numbers. It's really, really nice to just be able to run. Um, there are people that can't, and like we get to do it. So, no, there's a truth to cliches here. And yeah, I hope that you all just are able to find peace and gratitude and just an appreciation for running in a non-numbers driven way, if that makes any sense. There's so much more to it and a lot of parallels with life as well. I took away so many parallels to life, and I just feel like the way I go about things, it's like a small book could change that. Like Jackie, you changed that. That's crazy. So thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to walk through this challenge and what it entails with you all, because we're rolling it out on November 21st and it's going to be really, really great. And it's a great way to kind of divvy up your training and to focus on, you know, your mental training that many of us kind of neglect or we just don't really make the time for. And I'm totally guilty of doing that, by the way, just saying. So we could always improve, right?
For sure. And I haven't shared this with you, Ellie, but I had one of my run clients run a half marathon yesterday, and her initial plan was to be behind the pacer for the first 3 miles, and then to be with the pacer for the next three, be on the pacer for the next 3 miles, and then to give it all in the last. And the pacer started up too fast, and then she started up too fast, and then she completely lost the pacer, and she realized she was running way too hard. And she, in her text yesterday, like even this morning when I'm getting these texts from her, she's like, I almost did not finish that race. I almost completely bailed. I blew up. But there were a series of questions that I asked her prior to her race on, okay, come up with every single situation that could happen and how are you going to address those? And the mental training that she went through during her training cycle, but also leading up to her race, like it makes me so emotional about how she overcame really those first 3 to 4 miles of running extremely fast. And she pretty much came in at 2 hours. Her goal initially was just under two, but for her to overcome those mental barriers by addressing the negative thoughts and feeling like, oh my gosh, my heart rate is extremely high and I'm running extremely fast, for her to really take a step back and to reevaluate the race and to finish it and to overcome those negative thoughts that were coming up is like I don't know even if I could have done that in that same situation. So like mental training has so many benefits and there are so many different avenues that you can take. And I think it goes to show like just like running, you're never going to learn it. You're never going to know it all, but there's something that you can work on every single day. And I think that's why this challenge is going to be so valuable for so many runners is there's going to be a little task to do every day. And that task that you do and the work that you put in for this mental training is going to have this snowball effect. And as you continue to build on that mental strength, that mindset that you have, it gets easier in a way because you're training your mind. You're building those new pathways in your brain to continue to think positively, to continue to overcome these barriers, and to continue to remember why you're doing this and why you're going to suffer through this pain during the race, but also during the training cycle and through life.
That's that's incredible. First of all, you're a great coach, and I think that that's so valuable that you were able to provide your runner with these things to help her run a sub 2 hour half marathon. And for anyone on here, Rachel, I know you're on here. That's a goal of yours. It's such a good goal. That is a great precursor also for a sub 4 hour marathon. And you know, congratulations to your client. Like that's amazing. And you know, that just goes to say the power of like what your mind could do. Of course, training ourselves physically is, you know, our body could follow our mind sometimes, but you know, we just go out there and run aimlessly and like don't think that's great, but it's also great to like appreciate what you're doing,
Yep.
right? And to just
Yep.
coexist with the pain, right? To just
Yep.
accept it. Like, yes, this hurts, but I feel so healthy. My heart's beating, you know, I'm able to like literally do this. I'm hopefully not injured. And even if something feels wonky, just kind of assessing like, is that like how like can I keep moving forward with that and making kind of parallels to life, I guess, even though that
Mm-hmm.
sounds like kind of deep, but it's true.
Yep.
There's
It
so
is
many
there.
parallels to life, you
Yep.
know? How many challenges do we go at every day? Like every day is kind of a war. And I know that sounds weird. And someone said that to me before, but it's true. It's in a way that's kind of like an extreme way to think about it, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like we're always fighting to be our best selves. and to just to make life better and to make others' lives better too, I would hope, every day. And so we could always improve. And this is a great starting point to kind of make yourself into your best self so that you're able to do things like make your fitness show, enjoy the sport, and allow others to enjoy it with your energy that you give out.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So let's walk everyone through the challenge. So yeah, I'm really excited to launch this with you. Jackie, I guess I'll go over the first four bullets and then we could, the first five bullets, and then you could tack on the last five. Cool.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So basically, we are starting a 4-week challenge that is going to be a mindful challenge. It's going to be starting on November 21st. At the end of every week, we're going to assess your progress. And you're going to write down in a journal, how you did, how you felt, what you did to feel that way. We're going to have like a whole performance journal for you. And we're going to have a 30-minute weekly coaching call to review your learnings and turn your pain points into passion. Yes.
And I think the valuable point or part about the calls is you're not only going to be talking about the things that you overcame, what you noticed about your training throughout the week, but you're going to hear from others as well. So that's going to give you other ideas of, oh, I've come across this situation before and I didn't know how to handle it, or I didn't handle it well, or this is a different way that I can handle it. So it's going to be very beneficial to not only be looking at your own training, but the training of others and how they approach different situations.
That's an excellent point. There's nothing like the running community, and there's nothing like learning from others. And that's the value of just even virtually, if you're just sharing these ideas with people, you don't feel so alone, and everyone helps each other to progress. Thank you
Yep.
for adding that. That was, yeah,
Yep.
very valuable FaceTime and coaching calls. So in the challenge, just to recap the first five bullets, we're going to practice gratitude and how that could impact your running. So that's going to be involved in our structured 4-week training program. We're going to have you together, like Jackie just kind of spoke to, build a list of mantras that speak to your goals, your passions, your pain points, and on the weekly calls, share those things to collaborate and just share ideas and just to kind of maybe take some stuff from, your teammates and the other participants that might work for you. And you might be like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever when you're out in your next run. Like, what beats that? Not much beats that,
Mm-hmm.
Practicing mindful running, in whatever way that works for you. That's obviously what this challenge is really structured around, is working on your mind and having you find your ability to overcome mental barriers in whatever distance or whatever shape and form that might look like for you. To build a book of wins. So that's going to be your performance journal kind of aggregated into one, I guess, book of wins at the end of the challenge that you'll be able to take with you and continue to build off of, as Jackie said. And the last bullet I'm going to speak to is to run with your negative thoughts, but to be able to, I guess, accept them and just maybe pivot them into something positive. Like, oh my God, I can't breathe. My heart rate's so fast, into my heart's beating and it makes me feel alive. And this is the kind of hurt I train for. And I know what this feels like from my training, and just maybe laugh a little. There's nothing like a good laugh in the middle of a hard run or a run that you don't feel like doing, or, even when you're not running, like even when you're taking a rest day too, this will really come into play. And I just want to, say before Jackie touches on the last five bullets, that something that I took from the book that I found was really special is mindfulness and mental training. You could apply to any level, like wherever you are in your fitness journey. It doesn't matter if you are a seasoned marathoner, if you just finished a marathon, if you're an aspiring marathoner, if you are thinking about lacing up your shoes for the first time to run, this could apply to anybody. And that's what's so special about it, because you could implement it into your training, into your in between training cycles in a way that works for you, and it's not going to take away from like the physical training.
Yep,
So yeah.
for sure. So we're also going to talk about how to redirect your thoughts during, for instance, a speed workout, a tempo run, when you are running hard. And some people get caught up with not liking to hear themselves breathe really heavy or their heart rate like pounding, to really accept that as it is and to be okay with the thoughts that you're having, either whether that's maybe just dismissing those thoughts, acknowledging them as they are, maybe flipping a negative thought to the positive of, okay, like, yes, my heart is racing, but like my legs feel fine. I can do this. Just, we're going to give you a bunch of tools to get through those harder workouts. And then I kind of just touched on the next one, but to flip negative thinking when it happens. And this is one thing that, one of the client that ran a half marathon yesterday, I kind of asked her like, okay, what were these mindset and mental strength strategies that helped you the most? And one of them was acknowledging the negative thinking. And as soon as that negative thought came up, she relaxed her shoulders and she smiled. Like, it can be as simple as that, but it can be taking those negative thoughts and letting them pass or making them a positive thought. So we're going to talk about different negative thoughts that you're going to have during your runs, even maybe during your training, and how to flip them into the positive. We're going to examine any negative beliefs that you have in your running with your goals, but also it could be just related to life and how to change those limiting beliefs. When you learn to take those limiting beliefs, something that's holding you back, I'm not a fast runner, I can never run that fast, like I can never hit these goals that she's hitting, or she's younger, so she's hitting these paces, I'm never going to be able to run that. I could never run a marathon. Like, we're going to take these limiting beliefs that you have and dig deep into them and like eliminate them and flip them to the positive, into these empowering thoughts that will help you achieve your goals. We're also going to plan for all different race scenarios. Like, we'll build this huge list of different race situations that could come up, whether that is the weather. Like, you can't control the weather, so why worry about it? But there's so many different things that you can do to plan for it and to put yourself in the best position possible in order to continue to race as you had planned and to meet your goals. So different race scenarios, whether it's related to the weather, something that's going to come up during your run, whether that's issues with fueling, GI distress, hydration, maybe it was a lot hotter than you expected, maybe you dropped your gels, maybe they didn't have water or something on the course that they said they would, and like just all these different situations to set you up for success. Also, along with mantras, we're going to talk about affirmations and how they can be powerful and how they can help you achieve your goals, whether that's writing them down or, as Allie and I have talked about before, actually saying them out loud. Hearing yourself speak these words can help you tremendously. And the last thing, I'm sure we'll find some other things to talk about, but the last thing on our list right now is to reflect on the work that you put in after your runs and your workouts. So not just going from pushing save on your watch to running to the shower, grabbing a shower shake, refueling, and going on with your day, but to take a few minutes to actually reflect on your run. How did it feel? Like, that's one of the things I ask my clients all the time is, okay, like, you said all these things about your runs, but how did they actually feel? Or how did your race feel, whether you achieved your goal or not? But to really reflect on how these things went, what went well, what didn't go well, what can you do differently next time, what thoughts popped up in your head, or maybe you didn't have any thoughts. Maybe you got in the flow state and you were just running. So there's a lot of different things that we're going to talk about in this challenge, which I'm just so excited for everything that's to come.
Yeah, I think that, it sounds like you've already impacted someone's life with this. And, like, there's so many good race scenarios that could come out of just focusing on your mind, like maybe dropping the performance goal that's all about the numbers. And like yesterday, for anyone who ran the New York City Marathon, it was like brutal conditions to run a marathon in. Like everyone is a superstar. I know Yanira's on here. Like, congratulations, everyone is amazing for being able to do that. It's just so freaking hard. It's so hard. And, just being one of those smiling faces on the sideline and just being like a runner also. Like, I didn't run yesterday, to answer whoever's question that asked that before. But I'm so happy that I was able to be a spectator and kind of be on the sidelines and just watching, my athletes that I got to work with and coach crush it in their own way. And, no one necessarily got PRs. Everyone finished strong, encouraging each other, just enjoying every step and enjoying the experience of the New York City Marathon. It's like such a freaking special event. It's so amazing. So, having different performance goals, like being able to experience it and having fun and running with the crowds and not like just running a marathon to like book it and like smash a new PR. I mean, that's kind of cool to like kind of pivot those goals. And we're going to teach you, how to do that. And I know you're here, you crushed it. And, I just appreciate your energy always. You know that. Amazing. To anyone else who ran the New York City Marathon, you are all amazing. So badass, excuse my French, but like, wow, it was something else. I felt for you all. And everyone, everyone looked so happy yesterday. So, wow, it was just like contagious. I was like, everyone was like glowing. Oh my God. I'm still like, it was an incredible day. Yeah. I can't wait for you to watch the recording, Jackie.
I'm excited too.
You're gonna talk about like mental training and just, oh my gosh, really understanding and learning a lot about yourself and how to pivot and like practicing that in your training. And even for the new stuff that happened and came up on race day, just learning from your past experiences and applying everything and learning like things you could do on the spot too is all related to, your mind and how you kind of are able to frame what you do and your mindset for, future success. So yes, um, we're excited to bring you this challenge. And Jackie, do you have anything else to add?
I don't.
I know we got a little emotional on here before, and you're welcome. So everyone, we're going to be sharing the sign up form in our stories to sign up for the 4-week challenge after this live. Feel free to share this with any friends, and yeah, it's going to be amazing, amazing, amazing. So we look forward to bringing you this in between, training cycle challenge, but just we really hope that you take this seriously because it's helped shape our lives, and we want it, to do the same for you. So yeah, let's do
We'll
it.
see you in the 4-week challenge.
Yep. See you all then and have a great Monday. And yeah, thank you so much for joining. Thanks, Jackie.